What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today I am delighted because I've got an actual proper job One Piece exclusive. I've got an official One Piece card that I can show you today that has never before been seen anywhere else in the world. I know! Shout out to the lovely folks at Bandai and at PSA, because this is a Bandai PSA collaboration. It is a Monkey D. Luffy leader, and it looks like this. I know. Some of you, by the way, are going to look at this and immediately see what card it is. This is not a mechanically unique card. This is, of course, a reprint of the Monkey D. Luffy from OP05. But I am told that it is the first One Piece card to feature all the Straw Hats together in one image, and it depicts the Straw Hat crew initiating the final battle against the Animal Kingdom pirates in Wano. And we know that's true, right? You can see Onigashima Island there. And if you really want, you can sit there and pick out all of the Straw Hats, which makes this low-key a super annoying card, because if you're a Nami collector, you need this card. If you're a Sanji collector, you need this card. If you're a Luffy collector, you need this card. Obviously, it's a Luffy card, but you've got all the other characters on there. Oh, I'm collecting Nico Robin cards. Brilliant. You're going to need this card. It is a thing of absolute beauty. It is an official One Piece card. It is brand new artwork that, as far as I'm aware, has never been seen before anywhere else. And it does have an artist credited to the image as well. This is very, very exciting. It's not just exciting because it's a really cool card which has got Luffy and all the other Straw Hat pirates on, although it is exciting for that. It's also exciting for what this might mean in the future. This card doesn't need to exist. We've got this card. In fact, as I'm going to explain to you in a minute, we got multiple versions of this card. We don't need another print of this card. It's just a really cool alternate art that exists because PSA and Bandai wanted to do something cool. And that means that we might get more of these in the future. Just to be clear, I have absolutely no proof or knowledge whatsoever that we might get more of these, but maybe there's more PSA cards in the future. Maybe there's other card games PSA are going to go for, or other things Bandai are going to do. I don't know. But this shows an openness to do weird, cool new projects on both the part of Bandai and PSA, and that for me is very, very, very exciting. Now, in terms of a time frame here, we've got this month. That's what I can tell you. This month. Hopefully sooner this month rather than later, but I'm told that it is coming sometime this month. I have pressed with a lot of questions. And I've unfortunately not gotten all of the answers, but I'm going to tell you what I know. And one of the questions I asked PSA was, why? How did this come about? What happened? And here's what they told us. PSA is a huge fan of the One Piece franchise. Obviously, who isn't? It's brilliant. And we have maintained a good relationship with Bandai since the One Piece card game first launched. One Piece has proven incredibly popular among the PSA community. And here's what's really exciting. It has climbed to clearly become our second most submitted TCG category, trailing only Pokemon. In general, PSA is experiencing a surge in support for TCG submissions, and they have actually just launched the PSA Magazine to better connect with TCG collectors. Now, one of the things we need to dig on in here, and we'll get more into this later on in the video, the second most submitted TCG, that's huge. That is absolutely huge. Remember, when it comes to TCGs, there is a very clear and well-established top three. It is Pokemon, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh! In that order. No Magic isn't bigger than Pokemon. No Magic isn't even close. But it is still the second biggest game after Pokemon. Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! That is the big three. So you would imagine that in terms of grading, it would be a similar kind of thing. Does more PSA submissions for One Piece mean that it's bigger than Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh? No, obviously not. What it does do, though, is give us more proof of quite how gigantic the One Piece TCG is already becoming. And if you're a fan of the game like I am, and let's face it, you're watching this video, you're probably at least a little bit of a fan of the game, that is a wonderful, 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 wonderful thing. And we also know by now that when it comes to grading, And look, PSA sent me this to reveal, so obviously there's a slight bit of bias here, but I'm not being biased when I say PSA is the name when it comes to grading. There's a reason why people put in their eBay listings PSA 10, even for ungraded cards sometimes, is to try and catch people searching for PSA 10, because when it comes to grading, PSA is a name you think of. The point of this is the fact that if PSA are telling us One Piece is the second most graded game, that is very, very, very important. So what card is it, and how do you get it? Well, the card is a reprint of OP05 Monkey D. Luffy, which, not for nothing, is a phenomenal card. We had the 4 One Piece finals back in January in advance of the World Championships, and there's only actually one deck that won more than one of the finals, and that was this Monkey D. Luffy. It won in Oceania, and it won in Latin America. Now, to be fair, they were the smallest ones. They were both 512 players. North America was just shy of 2,000, and Europe was over 2,500. So together, they're half of the US and like 40% of Europe. I get it. But Alan Liu won Melbourne over in Oceania with Luffy, and Luis Felipe Arce Molina won Santiago in Chile with Luffy. My point is, phenomenal deck. Now, that was the OPO5 meta, of course. Is it as good in the OPO6 meta? Frankly, no, if I'm honest with you. According to Limitless TCG, and they're pretty good at this, it's not actually on the list of decks right now. Like, the only Luffy on there is the black-yellow, which is a little bit sad. Like, Zoro's got 0.11%, and that makes it on the list. Luffy doesn't. Doesn't mean it's not a great card. Phenomenal card, and it's one that's proven itself in the past. Absolutely could again in the future. It's one that basically just gives you extra speed. You've got your monocolor purple 5,000 power 5 life, but you get to add a card from the top of your life to your hand, and then if you've got either 0 or 3 or more Don, i.e. it's not your first turn, you can add a Don card from your Don deck active. Card advantage, Don advantage, jobs are good 'em. And of course, we did have an alternate art, a full art, in OPO5 as well. But that's not the only other version we've had of it. Don't forget, these sound loaders are coming out in the not too distant future, and one of them features an alternate art of this same Luffy. Did we need another version of the same Luffy this quickly? No. Obviously not. Is it awesome that we're getting one? Yes! Obviously it is. Plus, I mean, come on. Here are the other 3 artworks, the ones we've already got / are just about to get. And here's the new PSA artwork. Don't try telling me this isn't the optimal artwork of this Luffy card. There is no way this is not the optimal artwork of this Luffy card. I will not be taking dissenting opinions at this time. And of course, there is actually a 5th version of this leader, which is going to be coming in Starter Deck 18. Now, we've not seen the card yet, but we have seen the front of the box. I found this on Amazon Japan the other day. This is clearly the artwork that we're going to see on there. It's still not as good as this new one from PSA. So there's actually going to be 5 different options for this leader. This is the optimal one. Now, I did try and press for information about how to get the card specifically and how many there are going to be. That information is not yet being shared. I can only apologize. What you do need to do is follow PSA TCG on Instagram. I will pop a link in the description of this video to help you find it. When this goes live, and like I say, all we know at the moment is this month, but hopefully it's going to be sooner rather than later, cross your fingers, then that's how it's going to be there. Now, I'm a nice guy. I care about you guys. When this goes live, I will tell you how it's being made available, and I will try and press again for information on exact numbers, etc., so that I can share everything I can with you. But for now, there is something you need to do. You need to follow PSA TCG on Instagram, because they are going to announce how the card is going to be made available. And of course, when they do, I'm going to be here to explain it and all of that good stuff. This is genuinely, legitimately exciting. Because we don't get promos like this. Like, we got the Sakazuki, which is coming as it's like a new Sakazuki because the old one got banned and it's being given out at little tournaments, and that's kind of lovely. But that is just an ordinary, everyday, run-of-the-mill leader. The artwork is nothing particularly special. It's beautiful, but it's not like some big fancy full art. We don't get these big, super premium, phrase it how you will, full art leaders in these weird ways. That just doesn't happen. And correct me in the comment section, as always, if I'm wrong about this. I can't think about another time we've had this. But there's always got to be a first time, right? And I am not saying it's going to happen again. But I am saying if Bandai have done it once with PSA, that clearly tells us that they're up for it and they're willing to do this. And even if it never happens again, and I really hope it does, but even if it never happens again, look how amazing this card is. And do you want to know what the very first question I asked PSA was when they asked me if I wanted to reveal this card? I mean, you can all guess at this point. I asked them if I can have a copy of the card, because I'm a massive One Piece TCG nerd. And then I asked all the questions that are actually relevant about the card. Right, that's what you need to know. That's what I can tell you. And now it's over to you guys. Tell me how excited you are for this card. Tell me how much you want this card. Make sure you're checking back on this channel periodically. And make sure that you are following PSA TCG over on Instagram to get all the information about how to get this card. It's going to be big. People are going to want this card. Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a bunch of other card games. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.